Hi everybody, it's Jen from Scrap and Posh, and I am here with the Artistic Studio Creation Design Team project. We are going to push forward on our Signs of Time album. And let's get started. I have the next few pages ready. This one I'm going to keep super simple, and we're just going to mat it with this pattern on the 9. This is the A4 size, which has the tags on the back. And what I did was I was halfway through my album, so I took all of my full sheets of paper that I had left and I put them away because I have lots of scraps and I don't want to make more scraps if I don't have to. But if I need to, I can always pull them out and use them, especially on pages like this, because the scraps sometimes aren't big enough for full-size pages. But these two I grabbed. This one's actually like an 1/8 inch too short because it was cut off, but I just split the difference, the 2/16 here, and it looks fine. So this page is going to be a belly band, and then we're going to make it a little more interesting by adding a flip up with a little tag, I guess. You'll see what I mean. So this page is just plain. This page measures 8.5 by 5.5. So I cut out 8.5 by 6.5, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch on both sides. And that one's going to go right in the middle as always. And then for the fold up magnetic flap, I'm using a lot of magnets in this one. I have one piece cut to 2 by 5 3/4. And again, we're going to score at 1/2 inch on both sides. So 5 1/4 and 1/2. Oh, I was only supposed to score on one side. Let me see here. Okay, so we're just going to cut this down. It's going to end up being 5 1/4 scored at 1/2 inch. Did not mean to do that, but that's okay. It's just the flap, so it can be a little shorter. Now this piece, I'm going to put in the middle. So I have to cut this down to 2. So that's the same as this, but it can be as big as you want it to be. So cut this down to 2 inches. And as long as it fits on here, once I score at 1/2 inch on both sides, it's fine. So it ends up being a 2 by 5, score at the 1/2 inch and the 4.5. Okay, so I'll show you what we're going to do here. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my belly band down. And as long as it meets somewhere in the middle, I'm going to, I think, that's fine right there. It just can't be higher than this. So both sides of this down. Just make sure it's straight. Make sure it doesn't go on top of that crease. And then fold this one. And this one's going to go right there. But before we do that, let's fold our little one and it is going to go on top of this one. This one's a little bit bigger than 2. It's okay, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to mat this now because I want to punch little holes in it here and here so you can grab the little, I'm going to call it a ticket out of it. So let's find a scrap to mat this in. I like this one. So, this one is 4 inches by 2. So I'm going to cut this at 3 7/8 by 1 7/8. Then I'm just going to take a 1-inch circle punch. And you don't have to do both sides, you can just do one because you're going to pull it off of this side anyways. And then that way you don't have to line it up on the other side. Okay, so that looks good. And then since we have this spot down at the bottom here, we're going to go ahead and mat this entire thing. So this one measures 4 1/8 by 2 1/4. So we'll go ahead and use that because it already measures 4. We're going to cut it to 2 1/8. That, and then just these 2 here, and then I'm going to put this all the way up against the top. Glue just the bottom flap. And this lines up right in the middle on the bottom. And then I cut this piece, it's like 3 1/8 by 5, and this is going to go right in here. So that's what that whole thing was about. But we're going to mat this first. This paper. This one's cut just 1/8 inch smaller than that page. And this slides in here. It goes all the way down right on top of the flap that you just glued down. And then we need 2 more magnets, one for here and one for here. So I'm going to put it on this side first, because I don't want it up too far up that it would like want to pull. And then, just like before, a little glue dot on there so we know where it's supposed to hit on the other side. And there we go. Now we mat these two. We have 2 by about 5 and I think if I do 5 1/4 it'll be okay. So I'm going to cut that one at 1 7/8 and 5 1/4. Find it. I think I can use this one. There's that one, and then this one is going to be cut at 2 1/8 by 4 3/4. Yeah, that's a little long. Okay, it seemed long when I was saying it, but I was like, well, that's what it was. This is a really cool page to do. It's not that hard. And this one goes right here. Magnetic closure. There's that, and if you wanted to put something else in there, he's a little loose. You can make him bigger or whatever, but he's not going to fall out, so that's fine. And then for the belly band, let's make a little booklet. I'll have this piece of paper that's already cut. And instead of scoring it in half, this is 8 1/2, I'm going to score it at 4. And we're going to do a little offset. And I'm going to mat the inside of the bigger. So I'm going to mat the 4 1/2 by 7. That is from the front. That looks good. So I'm going to cut it to 4 3/8 by 6 7/8. And then on the front, we're going to leave it plain, at least for now, but I'm going to add a tab here. And this one I'm not going to distress because there's no pattern paper here. Oops. And I want to add it to the top because I need to stick it into that belly band. I do have these tabs on my Etsy store if anybody's interested in it. Just in case you don't have the capability of making your own. And then I would like to add one of these little things that I'm sure have some kind of significance, but I don't know what that is. They're like little what do they call it? Illustration labels, I think. Again, we're going to put it at the top so that it doesn't affect sliding in and out of that belly band. And distressing these sides gets rid of all your cutting imperfections. And I'll put it right in the middle. It kind of it reminds me of like a clipboard or maybe like a composition journal. I feel like, I know I said I wasn't going to mat that, but you know what I think it needs? I think it needs one of these cut aparts. We have so many of them. Like maybe that one. Let's try it. So this one's kind of rickety, rough on the edges, so I'm cutting and just following that pattern. And a little bit of glue right along the edge so it doesn't get caught, hopefully. Sliding it in and out. I think I'll overlap that tag that we did before and add one more layer to it if I can find something that matches. that'll be good. Okay, that was going to be plain and it turned out to be an entire collage. But that one's going to go in there. So you have that, and then I think we do need to make a little booklet in here to make it easy. This is from the front cover, the bottom of the back of the front cover. A little booklet. You can even stick something in here if you want. And that'll keep that in there. There we go. Alright, 2 more pages done. We're coming to a close. Let's work on these 2. Okay, so the next 2 pages, let's do a flap up at the top. And we'll do a small pocket at the bottom so that it can hold the flap down. So I took one of the bigger cut aparts and just cut a flap to the size of it. So the flap actually measures 4 by, you add a 1/2 inch here because of the fold. So it's 4 by 6 1/4. And I'm going to glue this down and then fold it. Sorry, I have my phone on because my dog is at the groomer and she calls me when she's done. Okay, so this one is not going to have a pocket, so I'm going to put a tab on it. Okay. He's going to go up the top here. I'm going to be using some pockets because I have a lot of scraps that I have to use up that aren't 8 1/2, so I'll probably have to pull at least 2 more full sheets out because I haven't done the back cover yet. But we're going to use as many scraps as possible before cutting new sheets. So this one gets centered on the top and flush. And then while that's drying, we will take our pocket. The pocket has to be shorter than the distance between the end of the flap and the page so that you can put things in it and it holds this shut. So I got a 2-inch pocket. Page is 5 1/2, so this is a 2 by 6.5. Fold it 1/2 inch on each side. And glue along the bottom. Almost forgot to glue it along the bottom. Okay, there we go. So when we tuck things in here, it's going to hold this down. So let's go ahead and mat this page. Again, 5.5 by 2, and then this one has to be 5.5 by about 6.25 will do it. That'll give us a little bit to tuck down in there. Good size, and we'll keep that one. Like this one, but I kind of like it for over here. I haven't decided what I'm doing over there yet, though. I have a few full-size sheets left, I guess. We'll use that one for over there, and I'll use this one for over here. So 6.25. Go there. And this one has to be, I keep finding 6x6s that aren't, I like this one. This is a 6x6, it hasn't been cut into, but I missed it, so we're using it. 5 3/8 by 2, or 1 7/8 rather. You can get that little bird in there, which I like. Uh-oh. He's too short. I cut him wrong. It's going to be, I thought it was 2, but I guess it's 2.5. So just cutting 2 3/8, which is really bad when you're trying to use your scraps cutting things wrong, but it happens. No problem. And then this one I think was 4 by 6.25. Go ahead and get that. Oh, no, it's not quite 6.25. It's going to be 3 7/8 by 5 3/4. Okay, so there's that one. So there's that. I wanted to add a tab, and since it is on a paper, oops, the pattern paper, we'll go ahead and distress it. Another option for tabs is you can take, let's do it on this side, like circle punches and fold them in half, and they're cute little tabs. Or you can take circle punches and glue one on one side and one on the other, and they would be little round tabs. You would want to do it consistently throughout though. So okay, I made a little folder here, so that's going to keep that flap down. And then I have a bookmark out of the cut aparts, and then I made these little specimen tags in one of my live videos on ASC Facebook group. I'll stick that in there. If you want to see that, head over to ASC, and there's like a recording on there. And because this side's so fat, let's just go ahead and leave this one plain with just the paper. So it's a 4-inch. We're going to cut it at 3 7/8. It's already cut at 8 1/2. Which is the nice thing about if you think about it, when you're cutting your paper, if you can cut it to the height first, then most of your stuff is going to be the correct height, and then you only have to cut once. I mean, it depends on what you're doing. So yeah, I wanted the hourglass on this one because I like it. I think I've used the hourglass once before, but that's okay. It's kind of just like a recurring theme throughout. And kind of the point of the collection is how time goes by. Okay, so now we have a few more pages. For this page, I think I've already done I did a horizontal pocket there. Let's think about it. Okay, let's wrap up these 2 pages and then we'll call it a day. But what I'm going to do first is, I told you I was trying to use the paper that I have. So I went ahead and picked out this back cover page because it was the only one that I had left that would fit. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use the turtle, even though it's not really the themes. I was going for the chemistry and the medicine and the avionics. The nautical stuff wasn't really a theme for this album, but who doesn't like turtles? So sea turtles are wonderful. As a matter of fact, I bought Madison last year for Christmas. She adopted a sea turtle, and my crafty friend Rebecca made me a card for her. It was wonderful. So Madison adopted Freckles last year from the, what was it called? The U.S. something of sea turtles. You just adopt them and you can follow them on their radars, and you get a little certificate and stuff, so that was cute. Okay, so for this page, I went ahead and cut everything out. I went ahead and distressed it because there's a lot of pieces, but the idea for the left page is I'm just going to take two we're going to make 2 swings. So I made 6 by 4, and I'm just going to score at 1/2 inch on both of them, one side. And those are done, so that side's super simple. Now I'm going to add, this is a smaller page, but we're going to add a larger flap to it. 2 larger flaps. And that is not even. And you want to put the flaps on before you mat this page, or you'll be able to see your flappies. So on this one, the flaps are actually not half of the page, so I'm going to go ahead and overlap them. Means that my mat may be a little big. Well, we're going to try it out right now. Well, I think we'll be good on that one. Put it on there crooked. Let's see if I can fix it. Alright, and then the flap mats are here. I already cut them and distressed them just because there's just a lot of them here. And I'm getting down, I found some more large lung pages, but those aren't very wide. And then we used a lot of our smaller pieces for these 2 pages, so I may have to bust into some new ones. And I'll probably get bust in some 6x6s when I make the cards anyways. I figured I'd make as many cards as I could with the scraps from this, but if you want larger images, because especially with the A9s and the 6x6s, they have all those cut-aparts with them. You definitely want to use those, and there's no reason not to. The reason that I'm not using the full sheets right now is not because I don't want to use the paper, it's because I don't want to have more scraps. So, alright, so there's that. This is looking full, but it still has plenty of room to grow, so this hinge system's a really good one for room to grow. Now this side we're going to make flap pockets, and I haven't decided if they're all going to go this way or if I'm going to go this way, so let's think about that. Okay, let's finish up this page here, and then we'll only have one video to go. So this is a quadruple pocket, no, a quadruple flap with pockets. So I have 4 shorter ones, no, 2 shorter ones and 2 long ones. So these measure 4.5, so after they're scored and bent. So these are 5 by 4. The other ones are 5.5 by 4, scored at 1/2 inch. And then these are like 2 inches. Let's go ahead and put them all down. So I'm going to put the longer ones down on this side. And I'm lining them up with the outside corner here. Sorry, these are the shorter ones. And then the longer ones will go on the inside facing out. And I'm just I'm leaving like an 1/8 inch up at the top and bottom, not much. Okay, so there is the end of these 2 pages, and we just have a couple pages to go. I'm going to put some tags in these, of course. And we have, you want to call it, 4 pages to go, and that'll be in the next video. We will wrap this up, and then we're going to make some cards with the scraps. So I appreciate everybody watching. Head on over to ASC Supplies on Etsy or ASCCraftSupplies.com. Use Scrapping Posh 10 for 10% off your normal price purchases, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.